Hi again. I'm Harriet, and I'll narrate this section. Now, let's begin to take a closer look at the dreamland level, in world work. And let me remind you that sometimes the voices of us animated figures don't go along perfectly with our mouth movements. You probably already noticed that, but I'm sure you'll get the basic ideas anyway. Okay, though the name, Dreamland, may sound mysterious to some, it's actually very practical, and a crucial level to be aware of during any type of group process. You'll remember that this level consists of all of the background feelings, body signals, and dreams that are not normally focused on by a group. In this section, I'd like to tell you about one of Dreamland's most basic theoretical concepts. It has to do with the idea of group fields and the importance of sensing the atmosphere. Actually, the concept of fields belongs, basically, to the essence level, and you'll find more about it in those sections of the film. However, we need to discuss fields here, in order to understand the importance of sensing atmospheres in groups, and how fields can help us discover a group's various roles, or polarities. This section is quite detailed and theoretical, and I think you'll find it very interesting. Let me begin like this. When Arnie began to develop world work, he started to speak about the concept of fields and atmospheres in which we live. He began to look at groups, and remembered his earlier studies in science. Let's take a look at some of his early thinking. Take a look at this circle. Imagine that within it are some people. From our everyday, consensus reality perspective, this looks like a group of people, perhaps standing in a room. Now, looking at this through the lens of his science background, Arnie thought, gee, that looks not only like a bunch of real people in a group, but it also looks like a field with people in it. That is, they are not just individual people, but they are moved by a field. It's like an atmosphere, or mood, that you can feel, but you can't quite see. Let's gain a deeper feeling for the idea of fields, and how they manifest as atmospheres in groups. Consider this lovely Hindu story about a little fish. One day, the little fish asked the queen fish, "What's this thing I've heard about, called the sea?" The queen fish replied, "The sea is the thing that is all around you." The little fish was very surprised, because it had never noticed that sea before. In some way, all of us, and all of the groups that we are part of, are like the little fish, swimming in a sea that we're unaware of.
I like the story, but what does it have to do with groups? And why is it important to know about?
Hi, Eric. Well, just like that sea, every group, and every issue, has a particular field or atmosphere that you can't quite see. But it has a powerful effect. Like this.
Oh, you mean, like when I walk into a group meeting, and it sometimes feels really tense?
That's right. Each group situation has a particular atmosphere that you can feel, and if you sense the field of a group, it can help you discover the structure of its group process.
That's what I want to know about.
Great. We'll learn more about that in an upcoming section, as well as the different parts or roles that make up a field. Let's study fields in a general way for a couple of minutes, in order to gain a feeling for their power. Of course, if you want, you can skip the rest of this discussion, and go right away to the next section on role theory. But I think the rest is very interesting. So let's go on.
Okay. I'm anxious to learn about role theory, but this does sound interesting.
Okay. Take a look at the way in which the wind spins these cherry blossoms around. We don't always see fields directly, but we know their effect. Here we sense the power of the wind, as it spins the petals and dirt around. In other words, the wind is like an invisible field or force, moving things about. Just like the little fish, we too sense fields around us all the time, but are rarely conscious of them.
Makes me think of the atmosphere around a spot on the Earth that I really love.
That's absolutely right. We'll talk more about the Earth and atmospheres, and especially what Harney calls the process mind, in a later section of the film, about the essence level. In any case, some atmospheres are very subtle, while others are quite powerful.
I think I'm getting it. I remember once being in an airport when the flights were delayed. That was a tense atmosphere.
Right. I know what that's like. You're getting the idea. Let's think about atmospheres around relationships and groups of people. One relationship atmosphere might feel warm and close, while another is so tense, it feels as though you could almost cut it with a knife. In groups, you can sense all kinds of atmospheres. In this business meeting, the atmosphere feels tense and angry. Other group meetings might feel easygoing or festive, or threatening, or playful, or scary.
What things combine together to make up these atmospheres?
Atmospheres are a combination of known feelings and experiences, as well as dreamlike or unexpressed feelings and experiences that are in the air, and which have not yet been noticed. And as I said, in the next section we'll learn how these atmospheres contain various roles, or polarities.
So, how does someone go about sensing fields? I'm going to take some notes about this.
Each of us notices atmospheres in our own way. Some do this through their feelings, others through sounds, visions, or some combination of the senses. That is, the way you sense and describe an atmosphere depends upon your individual experience of it. Okay, we'll move on, now, to the next section, on roles and role switching, where we'll learn more about the structure of group fields. I'll be going now, but I'll leave you with some images to remind you of the power of fields we can sense in cities, nature, and of course, in groups.
Thanks, Harriet. I noticed that images are a helpful way for me to learn and feel about fields and atmospheres. I look forward to learning about roles in the next section. See you later.
See you later.